In the annals of ancient history, Cleopatra's enigmatic brilliance shines through a paradox. She successfully charmed Julius Caesar, then Mark Antony, each the most powerful man of his day, ensuring survival on Rome's volatile chessboard. Yet this potent mix of seduction and diplomacy failed against a third, a man unmoved by allurements. Cleopatra's genius lay in making herself indispensable, a strategy whose promise crumbled under one who would not play. To understand the pattern Cleopatra crafted, we must return to her fateful meeting with Caesar in Alexandria. Here was not merely the timeless tale of beauty captivating power, but a calculated move in statecraft. Enclosed in Eastern splendor, Cleopatra harnessed Rome's need for loyalty, positioning herself as both an enchantress and an absolute necessity. In a world where survival meant aligning with strength, Cleopatra mastered a delicate diplomacy. That fateful night was Cleopatra's chess piece on a grand board. It was a declaration that Egypt's independence was woven into the allure of its queen. This time, strategy was more than seduction. It was survival disguised in human form. To Caesar, Cleopatra represented not just passion, but political calculus, a tool just as vital as any legion in his quest to consolidate power. Moving forward in time, Cleopatra wielded this tested tactic once more in Tarsus. Here, another formidable Roman strongman awaited. With Antony, Cleopatra choreographed a spectacle of sovereign allure, sailing up the Cydnus River on her barge, draped in gold and infused with the intoxicating weight of her ancestry. It was a pageant of power demanding acknowledgement, as calculated as any campaign unveiling. This spectacle at Tarsus was Cleopatra's opening gambit to anchor Antony as a magnate in her favor. She anchored Egypt's fate in Antony's ambitions. Yet again, the charismatic interplay unfolded, this time with Cleopatra as the center of a political masquerade. The allure was more than embellishment. It was a war cry wrapped in sumptuousness, speaking of loyalty, offerings he could not refuse. The recurrent pattern is evident, not seduction for itself, but for sovereignty, a sovereign choice in an Egypt facing the Roman juggernaut. Through these orchestrations, Cleopatra shaped Roman perceptions. She personified both Egypt's grace and its geopolitical stake, accruing not just alliance, but ostensible indispensability. It was a mastery of political theatre that played strongmen's desires against their imperial obligations. Yet, inherent within her sophisticated theatre was an intimate flaw, that such a ploy depended wholly on the hopes and ambitions of power brokers who saw Cleopatra not just as an ally, but as key to their dominion. It was reliance on malleable ambitions, a fragile leverage meant to span the ever-fickle reach of Roman desires. Cleopatra gambled on each man seeking legacy beyond Rome. What Cleopatra did not foresee was the arrival of a man impervious to charm, Octavian. This Roman, who neither yearned for cultural adornment nor saw personal alliance as central to conquest, emerged immune to Cleopatra's signature entreaty. Her long-standing strategy faltered, and where Antony and Caesar had personal visions, Octavian saw only the cool calculus of realpolitik and empire. Cleopatra's deft maneuverings led her to a trap of her own making when she faced the unyielding wall of Roman pragmatism embodied by Octavian. Gone was the dance of diplomacy. In its place, stark political reality loomed. Octavian's refusal to meet marked not a mere personal snub, but a systemic conviction that broke Cleopatra's strategic pattern and declared the fallacy of indispensability. The ledger of Cleopatra's strategies proved costly. Her deft utilization of the heart became a Sisyphean task when it came up against a leader who valued power above passion or politics. Octavian's indifference unveiled the real trap, a powerful woman's cultivated indispensability, now rendered obsolete by a new kind of Roman ambition that required not allies but assets, and not partners but provinces. In the final days, Cleopatra faced a cruel irony as she witnessed firsthand how her strategy turned into entrapment. Her sovereignty, once protected by personal diplomacy, now lay at the mercy of Roman expansionism. The realization dawned with painful sobriety. Rome sought not Cleopatra's grace but Cleopatra's Egypt, a province ripe for countenance, not cultivated charm. And so the asp, a tool, now becomes a final exit in a narrative she had always orchestrated. Cleopatra took the ultimate control over her narrative in choosing death over captivity, crafting a final act more majestic and sovereign than subjugation. Cleopatra closes her own story with an unmistakable persona of unbroken agency, leaving behind a legacy beyond Rome's grasp. Cleopatra's tale is not merely one of beauty, seduction, or reign, but of brilliant, attempted, illusory control over destiny through the fragility of human instruments. Her pattern of indispensability savored twice and floundered once under Octavian's impervious logic. In this, Cleopatra's triumphs and eventual fall illustrate not just the dangers of relying on charisma, but the transformative cost of historical gambits.